What episode? 83, episode 83. Birthday edition. It was Four Card's birthday yesterday. We turned 5. I know I look terrible for a 5-year-old. But if you guys missed it on Insta Stories, I'm actually I'll put my 4 Card like 5th birthday Insta story in my highlight, because I did give like a bit of a story about how we got started and a lot of the like ups and downs and some like photos throughout the history of the company. So if you're interested in the history of the company, how we started it, the time that we had negative $13,000 in our bank account, you can go to my Instagram and check out my highlighted story on that, and you can check it out. I got a lot of DMs about it. People found it interesting, so maybe you will too. But 5 years, it goes incredibly fast, but super stoked for the next 5 and to continue Drink with James, which 83 episodes in is still chugging along. I am going to the Great White North next week. I'm going up to Lake Placid with my family. We go every year. For those of you who don't know Lake Placid, it's not the Lake Placid from the movie with the alligators. It is in upstate New York. It's beautiful, but it is one of the coldest places on God's green earth. I believe it was like negative 24 there tonight. So I'm going to be very bundled up, hopefully by the fire with a whiskey and a cigar. So life should be okay for me next week, but then I promise I'm not traveling. I was in the Caymans, I'm going to Lake Placid, and then I'm done. I'm not traveling the rest of the year. I'm just going to stay put and work. You guys know I used to be a photographer for J. Lindeberg, and they make like insanely expensive, beautiful ski clothes. And so I have 3 full sets of of ski looks from J. Lindeberg, and I wear them quite well. So I am totally prepared. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good. And we're gonna roll into the questions here. So, question 1, any best practices for the first post? So let's say you're like, cool, I want to start a blog, I want to start an Instagram, I want to start a YouTube. How do I do it? Do I need to build up a bank of content? Do I just do it? This is a question I've heard a lot of times, especially with people trying to get into YouTube. They think, oh, I need to like get the first 5 done. I think that's bullshit. I think you just do it. Look, the first photo on my Instagram feed is a shirtless photo of me riding an indoor trainer with one of Instagram's terrible filters. If you don't have anything to do for the next hour and you want to just scroll, you can eventually get back there. I was the 1200th user to sign up for Instagram, so you have to go back quite far. But your first post, I don't think matters. I don't think if you're starting a YouTube channel today, I don't think you need 4 videos to publish right away. You just have to be committed to actually publishing them consistently. I mean, I think of Drink with James as an example. We started with 1 video, but then Tim just made sure that we added a new video every week and that we were consistent. And it's just that it's less about building up a bank or having a plan for exactly what you're gonna do for your first ones than it is about just being consistent. We talk about product market fit. I know it kind of confuses y'all, but we've talked about it enough now that I think we'll just continue to run with it. But what you want to figure out early on is, am I doing something that people like and they're responding to? And you get that, I think you get that feedback pretty instantly of if people think this is good or not. We just launched a new video series or new email series for brands recently, and sent the first one out and got 15 emails back, people being like, this is so great, I'm so excited for the rest of the series. It's just that little thing that when I talk about product market fit, it's that little thing of instantly people come back and say, I'm interested in this is good, keep doing this. So get your content out there, be consistent, and challenge yourself. I actually, just a very good friend of mine who runs this amazing wine shop in upstate New York called Kingston Wine Co. Tim will throw the Instagram up here. This guy's like a total character, and I've been trying for years to get him to do video, and he just speaks so beautifully about wine and tells these amazing stories about vineyards. And he is, for years, he hasn't done it because he's like, I don't have the equipment, I don't know how to shoot video, I need to build this content up, I need to have a plan on how I'm going to do this, I need to start a YouTube. And I saw him a couple months ago, and I was just like, just give me this. This is what I want for Christmas. 8 weeks in a row, 1 video a week, shot on an iPhone and published on Instagram. That's it. Just do that and just see if it works, you know? And the first video he did got like 40 comments. Everyone loved it. They're like, more videos, do this again. You don't need good equipment. You don't need a new channel. You don't need a real plan. You just put something out there and see what the world throws back at you, because if you hear crickets, I'm not saying you should stop, but if you hear crickets after 6 months, then maybe you should shift your focus a little bit. But I think you need to just get started, be consistent, and set a goal for yourself. For my buddy Mike, I was like, 8 weeks, just do it for 8 weeks, give me that. And if after 8 weeks you look at it and say, this didn't really work, I didn't get any comments. I mean, he posted his first video and sold 10 bottles of the wine the next day. Somebody came in and said, I'll take 10 bottles of that wine you talked about on your Instagram, you know? And so it's like, you look for those feedback mechanisms to tell you you're doing a good job, and you run with that. So I say go for it. If you didn't want to listen, go for it. You don't need a plan, do it. Next question, I'm excited about answering. Is it necessary to attend New York Fashion Week? Let me talk about Fashion Week in general. Fashion Week is in its death spiral, I think. I do not think that Fashion Week will really exist in a way that looks like today 10 years from now. I don't think Fashion Week makes sense. I don't think it serves any real purpose. It used to be a place where editors and buyers would come to look at the new collections. It has become a place for brands to market their collections, get a bunch of impressions, get a lot of buzz out. As Fashion Week shifts from being like a business opportunity to like place orders with buyers into more of a marketing opportunity, it just won't make sense for brands to compete with hundreds of other people within a couple days for your attention anymore. And big brands will start to move outside of Fashion Week, knowing that they can pull the talent, the influencers, the editors in that they need, and they don't need to have it inside the constraints of this week. You already see Alexander Wang just said today, he's no longer doing Fashion Week. A lot of big names are pulling out of Fashion Week. Saint Laurent did their show last year in LA instead of New York. Fashion Week is an antiquated institution that will die in the next decade, is my prediction. So, is it important for you to go there? Depends what your blog is. If your blog is a personal style blog that focuses on easy outfits that you can wear every day, no, why the fuck would you go to Fashion Week? It doesn't make any sense. If you are promoting a lifestyle and I guess let me step back and say, if you want to go, fucking go to Fashion Week. I think that it can be pretty fun. I think it can also be like high school. I think it breeds a lot of insecurity in people because am I sitting first row or third row? Did this blogger want to walk out with me? Did I get street style? Did I get onto the Harper's Bazaar slideshow? That doesn't fucking matter. Does it have any real impact on your business? No. There are opportunities for influencers during Fashion Week. There's a decent amount, brands, especially fashion brands, obviously, want to activate inside Fashion Week. So going to Fashion Week and having that content there helps you become, what's the word I'm looking for? Helps you get like consideration. Going to Fashion Week, as more and more brands try and activate inside of Fashion Week, you have to be there to be able to get any piece of that pie and any of that money. So if you've never been there before, brands aren't going to be able to look back at your content and say, oh, they go to Fashion Week, right? So I think that it can be important in that way. It's a terrible time to build brand relationships. It's a terrible time to do meetings. Everyone is super, super busy. It's difficult even for brands to notice your content. You have to understand these are, for a lot of brands, these are $1 million productions putting these shows on, and they last 12 minutes, and then they have so much work to do in the next 24 hours. So the chance that they're going to see your Insta stories or see your Instagram post that you did on the brand is basically zero. That said, it is glamorous, and it is something that I think a lot of people aspire to be able to come and do. And if you've built a following and you have the ability to get into shows and to walk in front of street style photographers and to watch beautiful pieces of art essentially walk down a runway, then I think you should take that opportunity. I have seen some fashion shows that were things that I will never forget. They are singularly beautiful experiences. They are these physical manifestations of a team's creativity, and they're really special to watch, and they can be a lot of fun. And I think if you go into it saying that you're lucky to attend something that most people who have interest in fashion will absolutely never be able to attend, and you can feel like you're going there to appreciate the artistry of what these brands and these artists are doing, then it can be a really fulfilling, rewarding experience. If you're refreshing Vogue.com's street style slideshow every 2 minutes and throwing a hissy fit because you didn't make the slideshow, and maybe you didn't walk out with the right person or whatever it is, and it's just, you're not gonna enjoy it. You're gonna feel bad about yourself, and it won't be worth it. So for what it's worth, I don't know if that answers your question, but there you go. Last question. Influencers got good following, 73,000 followers, high engagement, growing really fast, just graduated from college. Congratulations, kids, stay in school. Getting a lot of people, brands reaching out to them, but at rates that are just ridiculously low. I'm not gonna call this account out explicitly because I didn't ask for permission to say so, but I will say that I did look through the account, and a lot of it is beach photos. There's a lot of swimwear. It's a very Florida-centric looking feed. When you pigeonhole yourself into a niche, there are pros and there are cons, right? If you are someone that looks great in a bathing suit, I don't. I look like a pale scarecrow. It's really unfortunate. But if you look good, awesome. Like, a lot of people like to see that, and you can get a lot of growth onto your account. The flip side of that is that there aren't a huge amount of brands that it would make sense to work with. Brands need to be able to look at your feed and see themselves in it. They need to be able to look at the photos that you do, look at the content that you create, and they need to be able to envision what their brand looks like inside of this place. And when I talk to influencers, we talk about the Michelle Take Aim Challenge all the time. If you haven't watched that episode with Michelle, you definitely should. But I often say that influencers should be creating content that is high engagement, content that their audience really engages with. And then sometimes you need to create stuff that brands are going to really like. Brands want high quality, beautiful imagery. They want editorial level imagery. They want, stuff that is chic and elevated and luxury and all of those things. And so if you optimize too much for one or the other, I think you lose an opportunity. If everything you do is just too polished, people won't know who you are and it won't feel authentic. If it's too I'm just doing the thing that gets a lot of likes, brands might have a hard time seeing themselves in it. And this is something Michelle has enough power that she gets to do whatever she wants because she's such a big following. But it's something she struggled with as well, is that brands don't want her to use an iPhone to take the photo. They want something high quality. So it is a challenge that she's had. So for this specific account, and then extrapolate it out to all of you who are trying to get more brand work. Think about the brands you want to work with and say, how would that brand, if they looked at my feed, would they be able to see themselves in my feed? And if you can't say yes to that emphatically, one good exercise to do is to start just incorporating those brands. If you say, well, I really want to work with Reformation, then start posting about Reformation and try and do it in a way that you feel like the brand at Reformation will look at it and say, there's someone I want to work with. So, is this making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're asking too much of a brand, if they have to look at your feed and envision what it would look like for them to be on that feed if it's totally outside of the niche that you generally post in. If you've never done a travel post, but you want to, and you email the Four Seasons and they don't get back to you, and you say, why don't you get back to me? It might be because you've never posted about travel before. We had an episode with JC where she said that like she wanted to work with the Four Seasons, so she stayed at the Four Seasons one night, like saved up, stayed at the Four Seasons, posted about it and sent it to them. They were like, ooh, okay, this is what it looks like when you stay at the Four Seasons. So I would try and, if you're frustrated because you're not getting the kind of brand work you want, let's break it into smaller parts. What brand work do you want to get? Step one. Can you afford to purchase something from those brands? You can leave the tags in and return it. Don't die. You didn't hear it from me, but just fucking leave the tags in. Doesn't matter. So buy those things, shoot them, send them to the brand. That's a good starting place. Last comment. Again, most brands are New York, LA centric. That's, for America, that is 90% of the brands like focus. These are by far the biggest markets. These are by far the biggest focus. If your feed looks too much like it doesn't make sense in either of those cities, again, that could be a good thing because you may want to work with Florida influencers or Chicago influencers or Nebraska influencers. And that is absolutely a positive, and it is something that I think can be a really valuable thing. The flip side is that for brands not looking to fill that niche, it's going to be hard for them to work with you. So look at Fashion Chic Styling, Erica Hoyda from Fashion Chic Styling. She lives in San Diego. You would have absolutely no idea. It looks like she either lives in downtown LA or in New York City. So 90% of the dollars in this industry are in New York City. People that live in New York City really love New York City, and people want to work with people that they feel like they understand. An easy way to game that system, if you don't live in New York, is try and make some of your photos look like you're in New York. Shoot on the street, don't involve palm trees. Try it, It worked for Eric. It works really well for Erica. I think people are very surprised when they hear she's from San Diego. And I preface this by saying, if you're not interested in getting brand work and you just want to grow your following, then fucking don't listen to anything I'm saying. Post whatever you want and throw your swimsuit photos up every day. But if you want to work with more brands, you're going to have to incorporate some of these brand-friendly posts into your feed so that they can look at it and say, okay, I get it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that's it. That's it for episode 83. I've got drinks at one of my favorite places in New York City, which is Raoul's. If you haven't been, it's amazing. Last time I was there, I sat at the bar next to the guy, I don't know his actor, the gray-haired dude from Mad Men.
John Slattery.
Who played who?
Roger Sterling.
Yeah. Dude who played Roger Sterling, sitting there drinking a fucking martini, eating a steak in a suit at Raoul's. It's perfect. Cheers.